Hey guys, welcome back to Sparks and Recreation. It's been a little bit. We're gonna go racing, but you saw in the thumbnail, it is true. We are gonna destroy an SVT Ford Focus. So unfortunately, this is the way it ends. There is no change in it, and if you're upset with that, it is what it is. But hear me out. So it kind of looks like a race car. That's because the end of this car's life is going to be as a race car. I see it this way: a very rare car. This color in 02, which is what the first year of the run of these things. I think there were 600 of them, it shows. Total production being about 6,000. Here's the deal. You could either watch this car rot away in the back of a trailer park, somewhere in a field, wherever these cars end up, or you can watch it go out the way it was intended as a race car. What are we doing with it? We're going to go enduro racing. If you guys have watched the channel, you already know what enduro racing is. This car over here in the background, this is a 4-cylinder race car. So that's like, you put a bunch of money into it, you can modify it, you can do all these different things. You go racing on a weekly basis. You're trying not to crash a car, keep it very nice. An enduro race is kind of the opposite of that. The only if you look it up in your local area, they probably do one once or twice a year. It's generally between 100 and 250 laps. There are no rules. You're allowed to hit each other, spin each other, do whatever. There are no cautions. The only thing there is red flag if somebody's hurt or on fire, or you're going. And the idea of an enduro is you need something that's nimble, something that's quick, and something that's sturdy and reliable enough to make it at red line for that many laps, just beating on it. We're heading to it's like a 5th mile or something. This tiny little track out in Paynesville, Ohio, running the Turkey Lake 150 November 30th. And I don't see a better way of putting this car through the test to see if it's gonna. So I normally can make an enduro car last at least a year. My last one I had was a Honda Fit. I made it last 2 years. We did like 7 different events with it. The car, it turned thousands of laps. I don't see why. And that car was a completely rotted piece of crap. This car is very nice. By far the nicest enduro car I've had to begin with. Every other enduro car I've ever started with was basically the base model piece of crap under 120 horsepower. This thing is a monster. There's no reason why I shouldn't have a chance of winning of any track I show up with this thing. Basically, the reason I ended up with it cheap is I had a whole bunch of issues that would never let this car be on a New York road again. First off, the front subframe, right in the very center of it, there's actually a hole about the size of my fist where it's not broke all the way through, but you can see that somebody at an inspection station likely punched at it, decided, I don't know about that, buddy. It also had check engine lights for evap, a bunch of O2 sensors, fuel pressure. It had, I think it showed like 7 or 8 codes, and that's before we started taking stuff off it. Power steering was leaking everywhere. It had a fuel leak in the back. This was not a nice car, guys. So don't feel too bad that it's getting destroyed. Obviously, it has not been loved or taken care of the proper way in a long time. I did not do any of this stitching. It's hit snowbanks. Young kids have passed this from person to person trying to keep it running. None of them could figure out why it wasn't running right, and that's because you had a cold air intake on it that somebody put on a while ago and left all the vacuum lines undone. So it constantly had weird idle. It wouldn't perform properly. As soon as we put a stock airbox on it, this thing came right back to life. All right, so we got some safety equipment in here. We got a window nut, we got a 5-point harness, we got some Schedule 90 bar, just kind of the reinforced side to side. If you take a side impact, that is a nice spot to have it. It's also, obviously you need it so you mount your belts. Seat out of the WRX, all the airbags are removed. I do have a set of 215/45 17s, which are the stock tire size for this car. It does have these weird wheels, but they are the same offset as a stock SVT. The guy said that he sold the wheels to try to make some money. His SVT wheels are worth like $1,000 alone. These are what the kid traded them, which are supposed to be just basically what they're using as winter tires on it. I have a set of real sticky, right at the minimum tread wear is 400. That's what I got. Set of tires off a Legacy GT from years ago. They seem to be all right. They're not too dry rotted. Stick them on here. I don't know, boys. What should we do for paint? Somebody suggested we do like a Mark Martin theme, like do the vintage Valvoline number 6. That would be cool with the Ford mentality. I'm not a big Ford guy. I personally would rather do something similar to like our race cars, just paint it up. do the purple, teal, white, and silver, using as much of the car's silver as possible so it don't have to paint that much. I don't know. Here's the goods though. Got the SVT Life. These cars back in their day were absolute animals. If you look it up, the handling of these is the high point. So the suspension work that SVT did, this car pulled the highest G's on the skid pad. It held the record from 2002 all the way to 2020, when the newest generation Civic Type R is the only front-wheel drive car in its class to compete with this in over 20 years. So I'm hoping with some sticky tires, a halfway decent nut job driver, we have a chance of winning anywhere we go. And hopefully I can keep the car together. And I will be sad. If I wreck this car right away, I will feel bad that I took an SVT and destroyed it. But I don't know. I think that, to me, sending cars out like this is way more fun than letting them rot away. So here we are. We'll catch you guys at the racetrack. And thanks for tuning in. How should we paint it? That's the real question.